Hi everyone, my name is Celine. I am a QHHT Level 2 practitioner in Central Florida, and today I wanted to make a video for interns practicing on other interns. When you're working on your 25 sessions as an intern, it seems like 25 is a lot, but at the end of the 25, it won't feel like it is. It is such an incredible learning experience, and especially exchanging sessions with other interns or practitioners is such an important part of that process. I usually suggest doing a session with another intern in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. So you can kind of get like feedback as you grow in your practice and get feedback as you go along. A wonderful place to find other interns to exchange sessions with is number one would be the QHHT forum. It is such a wonderful place, not just for information to help you with your sessions and to get feedback, but it's such a wonderful way to connect with other people in your area where you live. Another one would be the dashboard. If you just go to the tab for Find a Practitioner and then you scroll in your area and see who's an intern and then see if they're interested in exchanging sessions with you. Another place would be the QHHT Facebook group. There are so many other interns and practitioners, and there are so many followers on that page. It is so easy to find people in your area. Maybe not even direct area. I've had sessions with people that have been like an hour away, and we've done the drive. Because there is something in you that feels a connection with that person, and trust me, when you feel that, follow it. Okay, it's usually someone that is meant to be on your path, someone that you're meant to learn from, someone that can even be part of like your soul family and your soul group. And it's such a wonderful way to connect. Because when you get to meet them, there will be like this instant like soul connection that you can't even describe. So when you are practicing on other interns, I think it is so important to have good communication before going into the session. Before you start, you can even let them know, be like, I know you know all about QHHT and past lives and how the process works, but I'm trying to get in the habit of making sure that I incorporate all the information that I need to for people that have no clue about it. So I just want to let you know that even though you probably already know all these things, I really just want to treat it like I would with a regular client so I can become more natural with the process and make sure that I incorporate everything that I need to. And if I'm missing something, maybe at the end of it, you can let me know what would be a good thing to incorporate in the beginning of our session with someone else. So treat it like you would any other client. And same with the interview. Make sure you don't interject your own experiences, don't interject your own advice. That is not what we're there to do. And I know it's so hard when you've done all these sessions and when you've had similar experiences and you want to help the other person, but save that for after the session. You can do that after, you've gone through the whole process and you're giving feedback, and then be like, listen, we've been in similar situations and I've been there, and something that really helped me was XYZ. Whatever book, whatever website, whatever experience it was, that is the perfect moment to kind of be like touch base on that. But during the interview part, try to just listen and ask inquisitive questions about what they're experiencing or what their experience was or their past, but try to keep your advice for the end. When you are starting the session, write the name of the person on the top in really big letters. I had someone forget my name, and it completely threw off the session because they were calling me a different name and then they were trying to like recover it, but they couldn't find it, and then they finally got the name right. It like the whole flow of that session was so thrown off just by that one thing. So I always try to encourage people to write down their client's name in really big letters on the top. Like make it all the way across, okay, so you can't forget. Another suggestion I have is always grounding and centering yourself before you even meet the client and then right before you do your session. This is such a must. Okay, grounding, centering and even like protecting yourself. If you're putting them in like a pyramid, you should do the same for yourself before every single session. And you will see that it will give such a difference in how your session flows. Another thing I like to do personally, especially in the beginning, I always ask Dolores to be a helping hand. And I always ask her to, help me through the session, give me feedback, give me advice as I'm going through this, and help me find the best possible questions to get the client the best possible results and answers. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard her in my head saying, encouraging things or coming up with questions that I should ask, and it led to like a completely different route that was so eye-opening for both the client and for me as the practitioner. And even one time when I was in such a pickle, I didn't know where to take it because my client kept falling asleep, and she would wake up for like a second, say something, and then fall back asleep. And this was happening for 20 minutes. And I kept thinking, like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do in this position. And the only thing I kept hearing was Dolores saying, do not waste the session. Do not waste the session. So I was trying to come up with so many different ways of trying to help them. And then after about like 5 more minutes of struggling and trying to find different ways of dealing with the situation, I got through it. And we ended up having such an incredible experience. They had such a wonderful session. I had such a big learning experience, and I was so grateful that she kept being persistent and saying, don't waste the session, don't waste the session. And I'm so, so grateful. So before any session, you can ask her every single time. Okay, she's there to help. She loves to help. So if you just ask her to be there, she will absolutely be there and guide you through the process. And then after the session, it's so important that when you're working with other interns, that you give them feedback and that you are receptive of their feedback back to you. I usually suggest waiting until you have both done your sessions. Okay, even though we're here for the same thing, even though we're all light workers and we want to help each other, we're not always as receptive to feedback as we would like to be. Okay, so wait until both of your sessions are done, and then write an email, or you can call them, whatever you feel most comfortable with, but agree that you're both going to give each other feedback. And the best way that I've done it in my experience is kind of break it down chronologically according to how the session goes. So what I did was I typed out interview, and then I gave her feedback on the interview. And then I said induction, I gave some feedback on the induction, and then the process itself, and then the SC, and then for afterwards, I just kind of broke it down that way. So it's easier to follow, and try to keep in mind that this is to be constructive and educational. Okay, it's both a learning experience for you and for them. And you don't want to bash them, because it might be like their first ever session, or they might be in the middle of it. You don't know, unless you ask them, of course. But this is such an incredible teaching moment, both for you to kind of think back and be on the receptive. If you were to think like, how would I take this advice? How can I word it to where they receive it as something constructive to help them and not to bash them? I think that's so, so important. It's a good thing to both record your sessions. That way you both have a copy, so you can both learn from the experience. It's such a wonderful way to learn more about how you were doing things, the way you were doing things, the way you were asking questions, how you navigated the past life, and the questions with the SC. It's such an important part of the learning experience to go back to either your own sessions that you have been the practitioner for, but then also listen back to the sessions that others have done for you. Because just like with other people, it gives you healing and it helps you in so many ways. So listen to your own sessions that you've done and received from other people. And then one more piece of advice is make sure you are keeping up with your session notes and uploading them as you go. Because when you are done with your 25 sessions, it still takes a couple weeks for them to go through them and to certify you as a practitioner. I can't tell you how many times I had to re-listen to a session to get proper notes, not just for uploading them for the head office, but also for me to kind of like go back and to really have a good outline of how the session was, what the outcome was, what they learned, and also kind of what I learned. Because from every session that you do for someone else, somewhere in there is something helpful for yourself, either for your life, for your practice, anything. And that's it. I hope this video was helpful, and good luck on getting your 25 sessions.